Please rise as Professor Kathy Quarles-Moore delivers the invocation.
Please, if you will, join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this special day, a day when we celebrate the University of South Carolina College of Pharmacy class of 2026 and welcome them into our pharmacy family. Thank you for these students who are not only receiving their white coats today, but embarking upon a wonderful journey. This is a day that many of these students have dreamed about, and while they may be incredibly excited, they may also be a little bit nervous too. Please give them a calmness and a peace as they navigate through this expedition. Fill each student with enthusiasm, confidence, and a heart to learn and grow. As these students begin their first professional year, I pray a prayer of encouragement for each one of them. Thank you, Father, for their families that they will look to for support. Please bless them. Lead them through this journey, not in a hurried rush, but help them to take the time to enjoy the adventures and blessings that you have prepared for them along the way while they are fulfilling the purpose you have for them. Father, I pray for our administration, faculty, and staff as they lead, guide, and instruct these students. I would also pray for a hedge of protection around each and every one of us as we navigate through this school year, and we thank you for all that you're going to accomplish through us according to your perfect will. In your precious name, Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Cutler, and I have the honor and privilege as serving as the Dean of the University of South Carolina College of Pharmacy. And I welcome you to the class of 2026 White Coat Ceremony for our University of South Carolina College of Pharmacy. Today marks a very special day for our student pharmacists as they prepare to embark on their professional careers. Before we get started this afternoon, I'd like to offer a few brief housekeeping notes. If you've not already done so, please turn off your cell phone. When the ceremony concludes, we're going to ask the students to go outside and take a class photograph. I ask that you, the friends and family of the students, to remain behind just for a moment so we can get the students out and get a really good quality picture. Following that, we'll have a reception in the lobby outside. You'll have an opportunity to meet with student organizations and to learn about the incredible leadership opportunities that we deliver to all of our students at the University of South Carolina College of Pharmacy. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to be with you today to share this momentous occasion for our students, for you, their families, and their friends, and of course, the faculty and staff of the college. I'm joined on the platform with many distinguished individuals. I'd like to recognize these individuals. First, the Senior Associate Dean for the College of Pharmacy, Dr. Julie Cease. Our Associate Dean for Student Affairs, Dr. Amy Grant. The advisor for the class of 2026, Dr. Alexandra Gasparian. And our distinguished speaker for today's ceremony, Dr. Renanda Jones. And of course, we couldn't deliver one of the best educations in the country without an incredible group of faculty, and I ask they to stand and be recognized. And we have some staff with us today. They're hidden in the back. You're not going to see them because it's dark, but I ask that they be recognized as well. Thank you for what you do for the college. I'd note that we have a very distinguished guest in the audience today, and I would ask that Gerald Israel please stand to be recognized. Dr. Israel serves as our 2022 Outstanding Alumnus of the College of Pharmacy. This is the highest recognition that the college can bestow on any of its graduates. I do see that there are other recipients of this award present. With those individuals who have received the Outstanding Alumnus or Alumna of the Year award in the past, please stand and be recognized. I'd also like to take the time to recognize those individuals, friends of the College of Pharmacy, who have contributed to the white coats. These individuals provided a donation to purchase each coat for the students in this class, the class of 2026. Your generosity is one that is very important for each of our students. This is a history and a tradition that's been going on for many years. We want students to start off looking as professional as possible, and your generous contributions allow us to do that. With those individuals who've contributed to the white coat ceremony for today's event, please stand and be recognized. Before we get started with the ceremony, I also want to recognize the musicians. These are incredible individuals. They've been with me for every year I've been here, and I'm so grateful for the music that they provide for today's ceremony, as well as graduation, and you'll be there in about 4 years. Would you stand and be recognized? Thank y'all. We're pleased that so many of our students, friends, and families could be with us today to celebrate this milestone. The professional education that your loved ones are about to undertake is rigorous, and your love and encouragement will be critical throughout the next 4 years. And thank you for being with us today to celebrate your students or your friends' accomplishment with gaining admission into this wonderful profession. This ceremony is a significant occasion for pharmacy students, our College of Pharmacy, and our university. I'm really honored and humbled to be part of it, and I bring greetings from the president, Emeritus, and the provost, Arnett. Both of these individuals recognize the weightiness of this event and what the symbolism of the white coat represents for our students. Given that this is an important period for our pharmacy students, I'd like to share a few reflections with you and to help you understand the significance of what you're going to be doing in just a moment. Today, we're going to be commemorating several things. We're going to be commemorating a professional rite of passage, a commitment by you to uphold the standards required to be active participants in one of the nation's most trusted professions, a commitment by me, our college, our faculty and staff to each of you to help ensure that you get the best education possible and that you develop as professionals. And finally, we're going to celebrate your entrance into our college's family. Over your lifetime, you'll accomplish many goals, and your life will go through many phases. Few will be as significant as the phase you're entering today. Because of your accomplishments, your dedication to learning, and your desire to pursue pharmacy education, you're being welcomed into the student phase of this wonderful profession. Of course, this rite does come with incredible responsibilities, and I can tell you that there are many facets to those responsibilities. The most obvious is that society will entrust you with medication distribution and appropriate medication therapy management. The societal responsibilities are considerable. Yes, it'll require you to learn about medications, disease states, but that knowledge itself will be insufficient for you to develop and deliver the type of health care that we will expect of each of you. And just as you learn to understand biochemistry and the interactions of drugs within the body, You must also learn how to understand your patients, understand their needs, their struggles, and their ailments. This white coat symbolizes that you're prepared to assist them and you stand ready to participate in their care. It is a symbol both of professional responsibility and personal responsibility, and it means something to the patients who you will be serving. You'll always remember today as the first day you put on that white coat. You'll feel special wearing it in public. And you, the class of 2026, enter the College of Pharmacy with an outstanding academic pedigree. And many of you come with lengthy service resumes, but you'll soon realize that this profession training and this professional education and this professional responsibility will be different than any other course, any other program, or any other experience that you have had before. And I encourage you to embrace the symbolism of the white coat and what it will hold for you. As we help you put on your white coats in just a moment, realize that we, the faculty of the college, as representatives of the university community and of the profession of pharmacy, we say that you are worthy of entering this phase, in this phase of your training. As you put your arms into those white coats, keep in mind that wearing that coat says something about each of you. In the absence of other information, the white coat tells the world that you have something to offer, that you accept certain responsibilities, and you uphold certain ideals. The white coat communicates your credentials and acknowledges that you've accepted these responsibilities to help others. Here at the University of South Carolina College of Pharmacy, putting on a white coat at this ceremony also signifies that you've entered the state's largest collegiate pharmacy family. And joining this pharmacy family means that you're supported by the community, and you, in turn, will be expected to enhance that community through your actions and service. The white coat, as is the case for any other uniform, symbolizes many things to many different people. Among these things, the white coat can symbolize trust, professionalism, honesty, and integrity. So remember, while the white coat conveys messages about your competence and character to all who see you wearing it, your actions will also be a reflection upon the white coat of all of us who wear it as well. Congratulations on entering this phase of your career. The faculty, the college, the administration are all standing behind you as you pursue this incredible profession. And never forget when you put on the white coat that you're deciding to wear a symbol that the profession holds very dearly and is symbolic of your integrity. So congratulations on today. It's my pleasure to introduce today's distinguished speaker, Dr. Pharm.D. Jones. She's a 2003 graduate of the University of South Carolina College of Pharmacy. She also earned an MBA in Healthcare Administration from South University in 2008. She is a true entrepreneur and has established 8 businesses. She looks to find a need and then a solution that is implemented with consistency and incredible customer service. Currently, she's the founder and CEO of the Pharmacy Benefits Management Consulting Company, Pharmacy Synergistics, and they do business as PSIN. Dr. Jones has over 2 decades of pharmacy practice experience and is an expert in pharmacy benefit management services. She supports both large and small businesses in a variety of areas, ranging from insurance companies to law services. She is a licensed health insurance agent, helping Medicare beneficiaries choose the right Medicare Advantage or supplement program for their personal needs. Since I'm getting closer to retirement, I'm going to make sure I get her business card before she leaves. She is truly a trailblazer in the practice of pharmacy. Please welcome Dr. Jones to the podium.
So good afternoon to you all. It is certainly a pleasure to have been asked to deliver some words to the incoming pharmacy students at my alma mater, USC. When Dr. Cease asked me if I would deliver the message and talk about my journey of how I ended up where I am in my career, I was grateful for the opportunity. At the same time, I was like, now I don't want to just get up there and talk about my past and how I got here. How can I make it relevant and memorable? And how can I make it impactful for our friends and family that came to support us on today? During that time, I was doing a 365-day Bible plan with daily devotionals from one of my favorite pastors, Pastor Rick Warren. A week or so before I wrote this speech, I had completed day 343, and it was entitled, How Can I Know My Destiny? In it, he asked, do we know what God created us for, what our destiny is? He says the first thing we must do to understand our destiny is to recognize the gifts God has given us to use. These things include things that we can't control, like who our parents are, nationality, race, but also the things that make us uniquely us, like spiritual gifts, our heart, abilities, personality, and experiences. He goes on to say that we aren't responsible for the gifts that God did not give us, but we are responsible for the ones that he did. For example, I wish I could sing, but I can't. I love to hear people sing and bellow out notes. I sit in awe like, man, I wish I could do that. And sometimes I try to see if maybe this was a late gift God gave me. So matter of fact, let me try right now, just in case it blessed me while I was in the back. You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. No, I don't think he's giving me that yet. So moving right along. So just as we will be held responsible for what we did with our gifts for the advancement of the body of Christ, we are also as pharmacists going to be held responsible for the things that we bring to the profession of pharmacy. Some of you have worked different places, maybe in a pharmacy like me since you were 16 years old, or maybe some of you have never stepped foot behind a pharmacy counter. You all come from different places, from different nationalities, mix of races, and live and bring in your own set of experiences that have shaped your decision to become a pharmacist. So because I know me very well, sit with me for a few minutes while I tell you about my journey. So I grew up in Hartsville, South Carolina, go Red Foxes, a small town about an hour down I-20 East. I graduated in the top 10 of my high school class and always thought that I would be an attorney. After some thought and talks with my parents, it was decided maybe I should try something in the healthcare-related field. I knew I didn't want to be a doctor. I wouldn't want to be the last person as a decision maker on someone's health, and I'm terrible in emergency situations. I knew I didn't want to be a nurse because hands-on care was definitely a no. However, shout out to all the nurses, including my sister who came to support me on today. So then I saw pharmacy. Salary was great, no hands-on patient care, couple of different practices I could practice. I get to wear a nice white coat. People will call me doc, and I could be an expert in a very integral part of the healthcare delivery system, drugs. So I changed, and when people asked me what I wanted to be, I replied pharmacist. In high school, my algebra teacher, Miss Vicki Taylor, said, Renarda, I hear that you want to be a pharmacist, and my husband, Henry Taylor, works at the local hospital and owns an independent pharmacy. Think you may want to work there and get some experience? Absolutely, I replied. So I applied at the then Barley Hospital and got the job in the hospital pharmacy where I worked part-time after high school. Well, Henry decided to leave and work his independent pharmacy full-time, and of course, he took me with him. Well, it was also a long-term care dispensing pharmacy, so after school, I got to run the unit dose machine. Y'all, I loved it. It was mundane work running the unit dose machine, but of course, I found a way to make some quirks to make it a little bit more interesting and more efficient because that's just what I do. Now it's time to head to USC for college. I enrolled as a pre-pharmacy student. Well, Henry and his business partner, Mike Rast, who is also a pharmacist, said, we have a classmate in Columbia who's doing some pretty cool things. We're gonna call him and get you a job. Well, that's how I ended up with Eldon Armstrong, who was getting paid privately to do medication therapy management way back before this was even such a thing. And he was also a consultant pharmacist for long-term care facilities and non-dispensing drug outlets. I worked after school doing administrative tasks, printing off patient drug information and leaflets, and I would also go with him to the nursing home to check the med cards for expired drugs. So if you're keeping up, I now have experience in long-term care dispensing, long-term care consulting pharmacist, general consulting, hospital, and independent retail exposure. Oh, and while we're on experiences, my very first job was a cashier at IGA at home, and I loved it. So add cashier to my experience list. That is where I learned my excellent customer service skills. Shout out to the owner, Phil Hodges. Well, Eldon was also part owner at the time of Hawthorne Pharmacy and a durable medical equipment store. You already know that I started working there selling medical supplies on Saturday morning. There was also a CVS in the parking lot, which is now actually the Hawthorne on Taylor Street. And I got a job there working with Pierre DeLucy and Richard Murray. So now you can add DME experience, major chain retail, and I already have 6 different areas of pharmacy under my belt, and I'm still not a pharmacist. Shoot, I'm barely in pharmacy school. Getting into pharmacy school was tougher than I anticipated. Remember, I graduated top 10 in my class, so surely I could pass anything, right? Well, organic chemistry with Dr. Ruta K. Bly and Bio 210 with Dr. Weimer blew that notion out the water. I literally got into pharmacy school the night before classes started. On the first day of class, we were asked to introduce ourselves and tell something interesting. I said, I am Renarda Dixon, and something interesting, I am the last person to get into pharmacy school. I got my call about 8 o'clock last night. Well, when they got back to the last row of the class, my classmate trumped me because he said, no, Renarda, I'm the last one. I got my call shortly after 8:30. Now, let's fast forward to graduation, and I'm still at CVS as a grad intern. You already know I must love it if I'm still there. I got licensed and stayed on at CVS. During the interview process, pharmacy supervisor Thomas Phillips asked me, Renarda, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I said, not here, Thomas. As much as I loved working retail at the time, I already knew I would be experimenting with doing a lot of things within those 5 years. I served as PIC for a few months, but most of the time I served as a floater. Even when I left CVS full-time, I always stayed in case something tanked and I needed money. I did mail order at National Direct, long-term care pharmacy at United. I did their part-time dispensing in their long-term care pharmacy, and I worked for staffing agencies until I started my own, RMJ Pharmacy Solutions. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was at the Costco in Greenville, who had just opened, and I was working there for an agency. The tech was complaining about the pharmacist from the night before, saying she wished all the floaters had worked like me. Now, mind you, I was sitting down reading a magazine at the time. I mean, they were slow. They had just opened. So I kindly asked, how much are y'all paying the agency? When she replied, I'm like, well, I don't make that, and I'm doing a great job, so how can I get that myself? Well, that night I went home, sat on my couch, and my then husband, now ex, asked what was I doing. I replied, starting a staffing agency. Help me find a name, and the rest is history. I served independent pharmacies throughout the state of South Carolina, and of course, Costco was my one major retailer. I charged less than the agencies and delivered on excellent customer service. It was very rewarding to hear independent pharmacy owners say how much they appreciated my services and trusted me and my staff when they couldn't work. I had about 6 other pharmacists who would work when I was double booked or off. I told them, if you need extra set of tires, you're going on vacation, or just need some extra money, hit me up and I'll see if I've got an open shift. Little known fact, I only paid them $10 less than I charged the pharmacy. I wasn't necessarily trying to get rich, but was trying to make an impact and do something I liked on my own terms without a middleman. My most recent job as an employee was Director of Medicare Advantage at Blue Cross Blue Shield, South Carolina. I remember when I applied, the job description said 10 years of pharmacy managed care experience. Well, mind you, I graduated pharmacy school December 2003 when we were able to fast track. So technically, I had only been a pharmacist for 7 years when I applied in late 2011. Well, here's a tip for you. There's a recruiter looking for keywords. I had been in the pharmacy arena since 1996. So the first line of my resume read, pharmacist with over 20 years of pharmacy experience. Pretty sure all the recruiter saw was 20 years of pharmacy, which exceeds the minimum of 10, so on to the interview I go. Now, you may say, Renata, but you had no managed care experience, and I'd say you're wrong. Every time I call that pharmacy help desk for an insurance rejection, every time I worked a third-party rejection screen, every time I explained the deductible and donut hole to member, that was managed care experience. Now, I did some serious preparation for the interview, reached out to my old professor, Dr. LeChuck, who was working in managed care at the time, for advice. I had read a bunch of guidance and regs prior to my interview. Oh, and I also received my MBA in healthcare administration from South University 3 years earlier in response to Carolina Health Plan at the time denying me a position because they said I had no business experience. Who, me? Okay, well, I see some folks need letters to validate, so I got an MBA degree. Now, I really love my job at Blue Cross. Gerald Israel was actually my boss. I got to dress up every day. I got to go to meetings. I got to grab Starbucks and only drink a fourth of it. I just needed the cup because that's what I saw them do on TV. I got to help make decisions that affected my colleagues in different practice settings. It was wonderful. I learned so much about pharmacy benefit managers, call centers, mail order. Well, 5 years in, I decided to quit and started Pharmacy Synergistics doing business as PCN Incorporated. What led me to quit is I disagreed with an internal change and decided to quit after the transition. Also, I had seen a lot of middlemen that I felt I could build and do better, so that's what I did. At PCN, we do consulting for managed care organizations, including my first and largest client, Blue Cross Blue Shield, South Carolina. We help MA plan sponsors improve their star ratings. We serve as drug experts for medically complex patients on an interdisciplinary team, perform PBM oversight and transitions, and we help self-funded employer groups outside of the state of South Carolina with their prescription drug benefits. And most recently, we have a contract with SCDHEC's Division of Diabetes and Heart Disease on integrating more of you pharmacists into primary care practices. My business partner is a software engineer, so he takes what's in my head and automates it so we can work more efficiently and develop proper reporting. We currently employ 7 pharmacists, 1 intern, and 1 certified pharmacy technician. I said all of that to say that I use the gifts I have, leadership, kindness, good customer service skills, authenticity, transparency, always striving to do what is right, shaped by my myriad of employment experiences and personal experiences to do my part in preserving the profession of pharmacy. My pastor, Reverend Charles B. Jackson Sr., often says he is giving all he has in knowledge and wisdom to the next generation of believers. He doesn't want to take anything besides his mortal remains to the grave, and I concur, neither do I. I want you and the pharmacists behind you to continue to have a profession that you are proud of, a satisfying career, and impacting the lives of your family, friends, and neighbors. So I implore you, as you go through the next 4 years of pharmacy school, to take the gifts that you have, the ones that you discover, and use them while in pharmacy school to pay it forward. Think outside the box, around the box. Matter of fact, throw the box away altogether. Think of all the endless possibilities of ways you can contribute to the profession. Get involved early with organizations like SNAFA, Pharmacy Association, legislative committees, and small groups. Explore, find a mentor, ask questions. Do what it takes to make sure the next 4 years are the most rewarding of your college career and set the foundation for a countless experience as a pharmacist. As I leave today, ask yourself, what do I have that I can use to cultivate my experience as an intern, soon to be pharmacist for the profession? I ask my interns at our precept, what is going to be the next thing for pharmacy? What will do to pharmacy what Amazon did to the commerce industry, what Netflix and other streaming services did to Blockbuster, and what Uber did to the taxi company? What is it, and how can you be a part of the innovation, yet preserving the tradition of pharmacy? I wish you all much success. Hope to see you at my site during your APPE rotation and various pharmacy meetings. Gamecock Pharmacists, forever to thee, Gamecock Pharmacists.
Thank you for those inspiring words, Dr. Jones. We're now at the point where we will make the presentation of the white coats to our students. Dr. Cease will call each student in alphabetical order. Dr. Grant and Dr. Gasparian will help you put on your white coat for the first time. And as I mentioned, this is something you will remember for the rest of your lives. I'll stand here and make sure you sign the oath of professionalism, and then Dr. Jones will greet you over there and deliver to you a lapel pin that represents the University of South Carolina College of Pharmacy. Congratulations again.
Logan Acker, Columbia, South Carolina, the University of South Carolina. Keaton Allison, from Aiken, South Carolina, and Wilkes University. Wathia Ashroff, from Columbia, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Danya Asmar, from Lexington, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Hakeem Balogan, from Columbia, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Abigail Barker, from Overland Park, Kansas, and the University of South Carolina. Haley Beck, from Simpsonville, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Kate Beasley, from Walhalla, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Zoe Bennett, from North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Gerline Bombra, from Columbia, South Carolina, and Midlands Technical College. Alec Biller, from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Morgan Brown, from Charleston, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Chandler Browning, from Greenville, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Ryan Birch, from Charleston, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Madison Burke, from Rockingham, Virginia, and the University of South Carolina. Jacqueline Byers from Kingsport, Tennessee, and the University of South Carolina. Chao Li Chong from Taiwan and the University of South Carolina. Sydney Chasen from Fort Lawn, South Carolina and the University of South Carolina. Megan Cho from Raleigh, North Carolina and the University of South Carolina. Yo Jung Choi from Piedmont, South Carolina and the University of South Carolina. Jessica Clausen from Medford Lakes, New Jersey and the University of South Carolina. Madison Connolly from Arlington, Massachusetts and the University of South Carolina. Taylor Cook from Columbia, South Carolina and the University of South Carolina. Nathan Corley from West Columbia, South Carolina and the University of South Carolina. Miranda Crump from Georgetown, South Carolina and the University of South Carolina. Harper Davenport from Greenville, South Carolina and the University of South Carolina. Alexia Davis from Columbia, South Carolina and the University of South Carolina. Courtney Detweiler from Columbia, South Carolina and the University of South Carolina. Bria DiOrio from Charlotte, North Carolina and the University of South Carolina. Casey Douglas from Rock Hill, South Carolina and the University of South Carolina. Yasmin Dukes from Williston, South Carolina and the University of South Carolina, Beaufort. Catherine Fee from Blythewood, South Carolina and the University of South Carolina. Evie Floyd from Turbyville, South Carolina and the University of South Carolina. Emily Frame from Powhatan, Virginia, and the University of South Carolina. Samuel Frederick from St. Matthews, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Marissa Garcia Chan from Spartanburg, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Grant Gaskins from Ruby, South Carolina, and Clemson University. Cam Glover from Aiken, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Amelia Hanshaw from Columbia, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Sanaya Haynes from St. Matthews, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Selena Herr from Spartanburg, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Maeve Haarholzer from Marco Island, Florida, and the University of South Carolina. Kayla Honeycutt from Whitmire, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Brittany Wynn from Taylor, South Carolina, and Greenville Technical College. Dylan Iacino from Rock Hill, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Benjamin Ebe from Sumter, South Carolina, and Winthrop University. Ahmed Ibrahim from Charleston, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Mackenzie Jackson from Lancaster, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Peyton Jackson from Utahville, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Joyce G. from Florence, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Brianna Johnson from Aiken, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Mia Jordan from Duxbury, Massachusetts, and the University of South Carolina. Kirkland from Lugoff, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Sophia Knudsen from North Prairie, Wisconsin, and the University of South Carolina. Bria Kosinovich from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the University of South Carolina. Anne Krompetcher from Chapin, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Toy Lathan from Lancaster, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Connor Lemke from Charlotte, North Carolina, and the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. Paige Litton from Columbia, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Destiny Love from York, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Jennifer McCreary from Inman, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Jayla McDaniels from Blythewood, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Harley McElveen from Turbyville, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Isabel Miller from Washington, Pennsylvania, and the University of South Carolina. Logan Miller from Columbia, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Eric Mistoller from Irmo, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Aaron Montgomery from Johns Island, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Anna Nelson from Greenwood, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Hani Nestler from Spring Grove, Illinois, and the University of South Carolina. Haley Nicholas from Middletown, New Jersey, and the University of South Carolina. Emily Noble from Erie, Pennsylvania, and the University of South Carolina. Abby Otto, from Westminster, Maryland, and the University of South Carolina. Hinal Panchal, from Columbia, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Neil Patel, from Spartanburg, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Yash Patel, from Columbia, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Lauren Patterson, from Anderson, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. America Nicole Perez, from Summerville, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Tony Pratt, from Long, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Lauren Props, from Chapin, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Audra Quigley, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and the University of South Carolina. Sia Rati, from Mumbai, India, and the University of South Carolina. Carrie Rickenbacker, from Somerton, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Kiara Rodriguez Smith, from Orlando, Florida, and the University of South Carolina. Jessica Rumrill, from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Ashley Rooney, from Charleston, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Nicholas Shannon, from Palisades, New York, and the University of South Carolina. Brandy Smith, from Hartsville, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Angelina Stallman, from Apex, North Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Isabella Steele, from Lexington, Kentucky, and the University of South Carolina. Leanne Stokes from Lexington, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Lana Sukar from Merrimack, New Hampshire, and the University of South Carolina. Tyler Sweat from Rock Hill, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Grace Thompson from Charleston, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Isabel Torres from Charleston, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Daniel Vuskinevich from Inman, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina, Upstate. Christina Voen from Elgin, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Tiana Williams from Florence, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Chahan Yang from Taoyuan, Taiwan, and Houston Community College.
I'm going to go off script for a minute. Y'all look amazing. I'd like to welcome our Student Government Association President, Jacob King, to the podium, and he will lead you in the recitation of the Pledge of Professionalism. Jacob?
Thank you, Dean Cutler. Good afternoon, class of 2026. Feels great to say that. My name is Jacob King, and it is my outstanding honor to be before you as your student body president. As we stand here today in the midst of your academic and professional achievement, I am quickly reminded how much can change in 2 short years. For all of us, 2 years ago was a time of anxiety and fear of the future and what it may hold. For some of you, 2 years ago marked the first semester of your college experience. For others, halfway through your bachelor's curriculum. Others of you may have been in the midst of another career path entirely, or even in the military. For me, 2 years ago marked the day I stood in your shoes. Not in this room or in this building, but rather up the hill in the Coker Life Science Building 215. I was there with a third of my peers, and where I donned my white coat for the very first time. And at that moment, the ongoing pandemic couldn't matter any more than standing in this room. I was more focused on trying to figure out how on earth am I going to make it through this program when I have to learn everything at my kitchen table. In those 2 years, the world as we knew it changed in ways we never could have anticipated. And as all this occurred, I found myself tackling courses and concepts that I thought were created just to prove how little I actually knew. I took on leadership opportunities that tested my ability to work through difficult moments that we as professionals have to face. I took each and every opportunity to learn from my mentors, many of who sit behind me today. At the same time, each of you persevered through life. We made it, completing our prerequisites, all in the hopes of making it to this moment. It seems like so much has changed in these 2 short years, and yet your journeys are only just beginning. Over the next few years, you all will continue to grow as academics, clinicians, and leaders. And one of you in 2 short years will be standing where I am today, speaking to the next generation of student pharmacists. Class of 2026, today you are stepping foot into one of the most trusted and gratifying professions in the nation. Today you are introduced to the Pledge of Professionalism and how under its guidance you will be able to build and reinforce a professional identity founded on integrity, ethical behavior, and honor. I now ask the class of 2026 to please rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Professionalism. I, as a student pharmacist should, develop a sense of loyalty and duty to the profession of pharmacy by being a builder of community, one able and willing to contribute to the well-being of others, and one who enthusiastically accepts the responsibilities and accountability for the membership of the profession. Foster professional competency through lifelong learning, I must strive for high ideals, teamwork, and unity within the profession in order to provide optimal patient care. Support my colleagues by actively encouraging personal commitment to the oath of Maimonides and a code of ethics as set forth by the profession. Incorporate into my life and practice dedication to the excellence. This will require an ongoing reassessment of personal and professional values. Maintain the highest ideals and professional attributes to ensure and facilitate the covenantal relationship required of the pharmaceutical caregiver. Please join me in once again congratulating the class of 2026 on their outstanding achievements. And I'll now welcome Dean Cutler back for his closing remarks.
Please be seated just for a moment. Thank you for those kind words. In addition to the recitation of the Pledge of Professionalism, Jacob, soon to be Dr. King. You probably have had the coats for a little while, so I'm sure you probably have rooted around in the pockets, but in the front pocket of your white coat should be a name. And that name is the individual. It's an alumnus, or a friend of the college that contributed to that specific white coat. It would make me so happy if you would write a personal note that thanks that individual for that gift for you to start on your journey as a student at the University of South Carolina College of Pharmacy. I'm old school. I like writing cards. You're joining an incredible network, and you can proudly wear your white coat as a member of the Gamecock Pharmacy family. Congratulations on this accomplishment. As I mentioned, following the ceremony, we will have the students exit out. We want to get a class photograph. We prefer not having any people bombing the picture, because this is going to be one we'll keep in perpetuity, and then we'll have a reception immediately following this. This concludes our white coat ceremony for the class of 2026, and I'd appreciate it if you join me in giving them another round of applause for this accomplishment.